To the day's other big news now, and local manufacturing of the AstraZeneca vaccine has finally been approved. The critical and very exciting milestone for Australia's COVID fight comes as GPs across the country begin administering the vaccine today. That is, of course, if they're not affected by floodwaters. For more, I'm joined by Dr Tony Bartoni in Melbourne, Dr Bruce Willett in Brisbane and Dr Nicole Fogarty in Sydney. Good morning to you all. Thank you for your time this morning. It's going to be a busy day. Tony, to you first of all, if I could start with this, what kind of boost does the TGA's approval of local manufacturing of the AstraZeneca jab have on Australia's rollout?
Good morning, Karl. Good morning to everyone else. Obviously, it has an enormous boost. This is going to be essentially the core of the rollout for the next many months as we approach vaccination of the entire eligible Australian population. It's an important next step. It's a step that we've been looking forward to ever since we, in general practice, we had to modify our routines in the face of the evolving COVID-19 pandemic.
OK, Bruce, the first phase of Australia's vaccine rollout has been far from smooth, as you would know. Is the approval of local manufacturing the beginning of things turning around?
Oh, absolutely. It's really exciting. GPs are really excited to get our teeth into this. It's a historic occasion and something we'll all be telling our grandkids about. But more importantly, it's the first step in really getting this country back to normal.
Look, you were on our show last week. Many GPs, including yourself, expressed concerns over the supply. You were completely and utterly inundated, weren't you? How are you positioned leading into today?
Yeah, look, we still have very low supplies of vaccines, so please, if I can ask people again, not to ring until next month, because the supplies are quite low and likely to stay that way for the next couple of weeks until that local manufacturing really gets up and going and we get those 1 million vaccines a week happening.
OK, let's focus in on that if we can. Last week you were suggesting that you were given 50 and you had 10 to 15,000 people on your books. What are you looking like now in terms of doses this week?
Yeah, we were given 80 for 20,000 patients on our books.
Wow.
So it really is not going to go very far. It's a tiny amount, but fortunately in this country we do have essentially no community spread.
Yeah.
So if I can ask people to be patient, we've got time to get this right. We're looking at it as a positive. It gives us time to get our systems in place and get everything running smoothly with these quite low numbers of vaccines and until we get these bigger quantities and can deliver them more efficiently.
Nicole, to you, how many doses do you have? How many have you received and how many are you going to be rolled out considering the demand in your area?
We were a little bit luckier than some, so we received 400 on Friday and we have 75 patients booked in this morning for their first rounds with a waiting list now of over 1,000, but we should be okay.
So are you surprised about the demand?
No, not at all. I think a lot of our community are very well educated and used to being vaccinated. Flu vax campaigns come out every year around this time. We always have a huge demand for that. So we're just hoping that everyone will be keen to come on board with this one as well. You
must be able to draw a little bit of a bead on the government's overall plans and targets for October. The vaccination rate needs to be significantly ramped up. And do you see that as still being possible?
Yeah, so we like some of the other doctors that you've spoken to, we were ready to go, hoping that we may have been given at least over 1,000. So again, able to just slowly ramp it up, but with huge capacity moving forward.
Bruce, why are some doctors more lucky than others?
Yeah, there was a process where practices were able to apply for the vaccinations. Some practices took the view, I think, that they really wanted to concentrate on vaccinating their own patients and they were concerned that they would be having to vaccinate all of the patients around the area. And for this first round, because we're dealing with older and potentially sicker patients, it is, I think, really important that people get vaccinated by their usual GP. I think that's preferable. So for those people whose GP doesn't yet have the vaccine, I would actually suggest they wait until their GP gets it because they're likely to get it in the hopefully not too distant future.
Okay. Finally, Tony, this latest tick of approval for the vaccine being rolled out, is it enough to supply us, given the European Union has been very mischievous in the last 24 hours?
This latest approval is an important next step to ensure at least that we get that local supply into practices. The 1 me rollout is an important next step. We obviously are very much constrained by supply at the moment, and that's going to be the rate limiting step as we go forward. In general practice, vaccination is our core, and we can certainly, this time last year we did 6 million flu vaccines in just over 6 weeks. We can do the same again, and if we've given the supply, clearly that's the limiting step in this whole process.
All right, thank you all so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, and good luck in the coming days and weeks. Really appreciate it.